Meaning to the overall story, Ace's death simply just doesn't compare to
So after reading the latest JJK chapter, I have to completely disagree with you. So I don't know if you or the other people who are watching actually watched the entirety of One Piece or read it. But if not, it's okay because I will explain it chronologically how Ace was more meaningful alive and dead to the story, and how his build-up was better and how his death was more shocking. Because I feel like a lot of people just read some chapters of Marineford and didn't even watch or read One Piece, so they don't have like the whole context of Ace's character. So obviously I'm going to skip the whole childhood where Ace influenced Luffy to become a pirate. So this is the first instance when we see Ace actually meeting up with Luffy and giving him his Vivre card. I'm gonna assume if you're debating One Piece, you know what a Vivre card is. Then we have the duel between Ace and Blackbeard on Banera Island. So if you don't know, Ace went after Blackbeard because Blackbeard committed a crime on the Whitebeard ship. And this duel is so important because Blackbeard is able to actually take a pirate and give it to the government to be able to actually become a warlord. This is such a key point to the story. Then we get to the next arc, which is Thriller arc, where Luffy noticed that Ace's Vivre card is disappearing. Then we get to Amazon Lily's arc, where a Marine come forward and talk to Boa, telling her that Ace's execution date has been set, and that if she refuses to come and fight with the Marines, she will lose her the treaty and her title of warlord. So she literally refuses at first, and she's ready to go to war with the Marines. But because she met Luffy on the island and fell for him, she changed her mind and she's now actually going to Marineford and she's gonna help Luffy. So if Luffy didn't have this connection with Ace, literally the whole Kuja pirate and Amazon Lily would have gone to war with the world government. Then we skip to Impel Down, where it's literally an arc that exists just because of Ace. Because of in the Impel Down arc, Luffy was able to meet one of the most important commander, Ivankov, who works under Luffy's dad. Then Luffy meets up with Jinbei, who is a longtime friend of Ace, and Jinbei wants to help him because of Ace. I will explain why the relationship is so important to the story after. So if Ace wasn't in Impel Down, Luffy wouldn't have been able to free up Ivankov, Crocodile, and Jinbei, which are important to the story. Oh, and let's not forget that the Cross Gate wouldn't exist if Crocodile didn't get out of Impel Down to actually create the organization. And then Blackbeard meets up with Luffy and tells him that Ace saved his life, because otherwise it would have been Luffy that would have been turned to the world government, and we don't know how much the story would have changed after that. And because Blackbeard turned Ace to the world government and became a warlord, he was able to come to Impel Down and actually get the rest of his crew. For example, Shiryu. So without Ace, like, the Blackbeard pirate wouldn't be here. Then we get to Marineford, where the whole execution has been broadcasted to the people because of how his death would mean to the world. Really, Sengoku tells him that they have been searching for him for so long, and also that like Whitebeard was trying to make him the Pirate King, even though Ace thought that he was the one who was making Whitebeard the Pirate King. His execution is so important because he is Goldie Roger's son, the previous Pirate King's son. His death is so meaningful because even Sengoku here tells us that if they would have allowed him to live, he would have been able to lead a new generation of pirates on a reign of terror. Literally because of Ace's existence, they had to go around and kill babies who were gonna be born at the same time as him because they were scared that Goldie Roger's son was gonna be born. Not to mention that because of Ace's execution, the whole world is able to see that the world government has a pacifista army, which means that the world government is working with Vegapunk on creating weapons of mass destruction. We get to know this information, which is crazy and foreshadowing to Egghead. Without Ace, we wouldn't have known that. And because Ace died and Whitebeard died while saying that the One Piece is real, that just leads a new generation of pirates who are actually going to go for the One Piece. Not to mention, because of Ace's execution, Blackbeard was able to come to Marineford and steals Whitebeard's fruit and have two devil fruit. Clearly, Whitebeard's death changed the whole balance of the One Piece world. Also, Ace's death is so shocking because it's the first not fake out death that Oda is giving us. And because of Ace's execution, there's a relationship between Law and Luffy that is created at that moment that will lead them to actually beat Warlords and Yonkos together. And because of this execution, we get to see an appearance of Shanks, who's stopping the war and showing us how powerful he is. And all of that leads to Luffy training under Rayleigh to learn Haki. Then Ace's death importance doesn't stop here. Since Ace asked Jinbei to take care of Luffy, Jinbei is actually having a relationship with Luffy, and because of the relationship, the laws regarding the humans on the Fishman Island are changing, and the fishmen are starting to trust the humans again. Because Ace had this connection with Jinbei, and Jinbei then had the connection with Luffy. Then we skip to Dressrosa, where literally Ace's fruit is brought up again. People are fighting for it and Sabo gets introduced. The revolutionary army comes to Dressrosa to retrieve that fruit. So we get to know that Sabo is actually alive and he gets the fruit and eats it instead of Jesus Burgess. So then we get to also know that the Blackbeard pirates are going around trying to search for powerful devil fruits. Without Ace's fruits on Dressrosa, we wouldn't have known that. And then we get to Wano's arc, where Ace's influence is so huge. Literally because Yamato met with Ace, she changed her whole mentality, created this connection with him, and had hope. And then because of that connection she had with Ace, she has an easier time going against her family and actually fighting Kaido for Luffy. And same with Otama. Literally, she had an easier time to help Luffy because he is Ace's brother, and when Ace came back in the past, he also gave her hope, and she decided that she wanted to become a Kunoichi, which is somebody who fights. And without Orama, the whole raid would have failed. So it was literally because of Ace's influence. And let's not forget about the Rocky Port incident. Because Ace died and Whitebeard died, the protection that Whitebeard had over this island was gone. So the Blackbeard Party came and attacked the island, and Kobe got kidnapped, which will lead Sword and Garp to go to Hoshinosu to actually free him, which will lead to Garp. You know what happens to Garp afterward. Like, literally, One Piece wouldn't be One Piece without Ace. So for you to say that his death wasn't as meaningful as Gojo is crazy. Because after Gojo's death, nothing changed. But as you can see, Ace had so much influence on the story ever since he was born. If you take Ace out of the One Piece story, the One Piece story wouldn't make sense. So the build-up of I don't know how many arcs was there, a shocking, not fake out death, and how meaningful his death was to the whole story. So in my opinion, like, Gojo ain't got nothing on him, sorry. But again, I cannot blame you or other people because if y'all didn't read One Piece, y'all don't know about Ace. Ace's character is so complex, y'all need to read the whole series or watch the whole series to actually understand him, not just Marineford. Also, this whole analysis focused on Ace's character. If y'all want to see the analysis from the Gojo's perspective, go check the Chestnuts Links video. I'm going to tag her inside of the description.